Olá a todos, obrigado por estarem a assistir a este vídeo. É para mim um grande privilégio estar convosco e tenho o enorme privilégio de estar tão bem acompanhado desta vez com Kevin Swanson. Kevin Swanson é esposo, pai de 5 filhos, também desenvolve um ministério de rádio, Generations, tem ajudado e auxiliado famílias cristãs com um currículo cristão para o discipulado cristão dos nossos filhos, das futuras gerações, e tem impactado de uma maneira especial a minha vida, o meu ministério, a minha família. E quero aproveitar a presença com ele, e ele aceitou de uma maneira muito amável e gentil esta conversa e partilhar esta conversa convosco. E quero abordar através de 2 questões. A primeira delas, como edificar uma família centrada em Deus. Como construir essa família?
God-centered family is not a child-centered family. It's not a parent-centered family. It's a God-centered family. That is what we find in Psalm 112. Blessed is the man who fears the Lord and delights greatly in his commandments. His seed will be mighty in the earth. That means that this is the father, the mother who fear God. And they love God with their heart, soul, mind, and strength. They love to speak of God. They bring God into the picture throughout the day. Think of Deuteronomy 6 and verse 7. You shall teach your children God's word as you sit in the house, as you walk by the way, as you rise up, as you lie down. God's word is always right there at the center. And the parents are drawing the word of God in and just integrating it into the child's experience throughout the entire family life. So a God-centered family is a family that's centered on God. It's a family that is worshiping God and considers the worship of God to be the highlight of every day and the highlight of every week. We go to church, we worship God at the church, but we also are worshiping God throughout the week. It's not a family where they worship God on Sunday, but not on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's a family where they appreciate God, they love God, they fear God, they reverence God, they recognize God, they realize the blessings of God throughout the week, and respond in thanksgiving and praise and worship.
Falando de família, e a primeira grande comissão para a família é ter filhos, é multiplicação. No mundo ocidental, cada vez mais é uma raridade ter filhos. Famílias numerosas são... os agentes de famílias numerosas em Portugal são como bichos raros, e até entre os cristãos, ter filhos é cada vez mais uma raridade. No máximo, os cristãos querem ter um filho, ao máximo 2 filhos. O que tem a dizer para esses cristãos e para encorajar esses cristãos no cumprimento da grande comissão, da primeira grande comissão, multiplicação?
Well, sadly, the church is much like the world today because the church is receiving the advice of the world and falling down to receive the counsel of what the world is doing. The world is imploding its birth rates. The world is spending its future into debt and more destroying its social systems and its economic systems. And what we need to do is go back to the Word of God. We find that debt is a negative and having children is a positive. The world says, oh, no. Getting into lots and lots of debt is a positive, and having a lot of children would be a curse or a negative. But what we find in the Bible is just the opposite. Psalm 127 states that we are greatly blessed when we receive children. The person who has a quiver full of them is one who is very, very blessed of God. Children are heritage of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is His reward. So we read that in the Word of God. We must, as Christians, receive that and say, yes, this is God's blessing, and then respond in gratitude and love for our children. And that's the sort of thing that is missing, I think, in our day today. Families are not recognizing children to be the blessing that God has defined children to be. Now, here's the other more fundamental issue that I think is something we need to impress upon our Christian families. When we follow Jesus, Jesus said, if you will be my disciple, you must deny yourself, take up your cross daily and follow me. We are to lose our life in order that we would find our lives. But the world, of course, is saying just the opposite. Well, my question to Christian parents is simply, how are you doing that? Are you just wanting to relax and enjoy life and not really deny yourselves, take up the cross daily and follow Jesus? I think all of us are called to that. Now, some will be called to it on the mission field. Some would be called to it to martyrdom. But some of us in countries where there's not much persecution will be called to sacrifice, to give up ourselves by having lots of children, or maybe adopting 5 or 6 special needs children into our families. But one way or another, we must lose our lives. So I just simply ask Christians who want to follow Jesus and be disciples of Jesus, how are you going to give up your life? How will you deny yourself, take up the cross daily, and follow Jesus in your life? A servant is not above his master. So as Jesus is dragging his cross to Calvary, we can't be riding in a fancy sports car and honking the horn at Jesus. We need to be carrying our cross behind him. And so we got to remember that Jesus is the great picture of the servant of God, and we ourselves are servants of Jesus Christ. And we take up our cross and follow the Lord Jesus Christ. That is the Christian life. And that, I think, is the thing that needs to be taught by pastors in churches here in Portugal and all around the world. That is the vision for the Christian life, as presented by Jesus.
Amém. Amém. Muito bom. Obrigado por terem assistido a este vídeo. Poderíamos continuar, mas vamos ter outra oportunidade também com o Kevin Swanson. Estejam atentos e sigam o próximo vídeo. Espero que tenha sido e tenha certeza que foi de edificação para aqueles que assistiram. Se assim o consideras, também compartilha com outros para abençoar outros, edificar, animar e encorajar a continuar a seguirmos Jesus Cristo fielmente, individualmente, como família, nos nossos lares e como igreja, para a glória de Deus aqui em Portugal. Que Deus vos abençoe. Obrigado, Kevin, por estar aqui comigo. Obrigado pela oportunidade.
Obrigado.
Adeus.